right, welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. I saw a couple of people tonight at TD Garden saying, Razor, that they love Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, and they are looking forward to this one. This is when the Bruins were up 4-1, right? Or was it 3-1 after the second and feeling pretty good. Actually, it was 4-1, beg your pardon. I get my numbers mixed up. Regardless, got a little tight in the third period, but I think they're still going to enjoy this one. A lot of good stuff happening. Bruins win 5-3. Second time in a row against the Leafs. Bruins win by the exact same score, albeit in a little different way in this one. But what a fun opportunity for the Bruins, especially with Pastrnak picking up an important goal at home. Welcome to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This show presented by Spark, Sunset Lake CBD, Copeland Automotive Group, and Fazenda. Razor, you're getting ready to be road Razor again, so you didn't head into TD Garden for this one. You had the opportunity to watch it on television. How was your evening on the couch?
Yeah, it was great. I had practice too, so I was able to get everybody's practice, so that was great. Good solid kids night. Listen a little on the radio. I watched the third, catch the highlights. So it was great. I mean, again, I'm just I'm so obviously thrilled that the Bruins have won 7 in a row. I'm also I'm wondering what this Toronto Maple Leafs team is. After watching 120 minutes of them, like we had a few jarring moments through the 6-game losing streak with this Bruins team, and I'm not sure I would put any of that play where the Leafs are in attitude and character. You talk about not pushing back. It's there was none of that. Two straight games for the Bruins against them.
Not that this is a Leaf show and not that we truly care, but I was surprised that we saw nothing from the Leafs until late in the third. And we'll get to that, but Max Domi taking what I would call not the smartest penalty at that time.
Stupid. They actually had momentum then. That was the wrong time to take that.
Right.
I was worried the Bruins weren't going to make them pay. I really was. I was concerned for the first minute of that power play because that felt like the game. Like you get and great job by Lindholm keeping the puck in at the point, Kastelik getting the front, and of course David playing his 2-minute power play puts them over the top.
Yeah, gorgeous pass I thought from Kastelik. It was a real good retrieval of the puck and everything, as you say. But in general, I guess the point is, I was expecting more, especially when the game was 4-1, more pushback from Toronto. And we just didn't see it at all. And it's roster construction. It just is for them.
And let's talk Bruins now from that. Yeah. They don't have enough to stay on top of it with the Bruins. Roster construction on the Leafs, but we talked about, of course, Cam and Don, all the the whole thing. It's hard to challenge the Bruins because there's enough guys. There's a lot of guys. You go through one, you got to get to the next guy and the next guy. So in a game like today, the Bruins control it because they can't get pushed around. It's interesting. Today was the first day I think we saw it where, the Genoes don't have to fight because they just don't have enough players to do it on the other side.
Yeah, nobody wanted Jeannot. They were all pissed off at Zadorov, and we'll get into the reasons why. I don't think anybody wanted Kastelik. Nobody wanted Jeffrey Viel.
No.
So, to your point, it's a good, we really saw it for the first time. I go back to Cam Neely's comments to begin the season about oh shit, you're playing the Boston Bruins. You're gonna be in that type of game. I'm paraphrasing.
Yep.
That was kind of felt like what this type of result was in this game, that we've got 4 battleships or so that you've got to deal with, you've got to get through, and Toronto's got none. None. And the Bruins, let's go back to this, just to the beginning of the game. The Bruins come out, they're facing a team they just beat on Saturday, big hockey night in Canada game. You were ringside, you got to enjoy that from a Boston perspective, and also being in Toronto, the vibe, everything, they dominated Toronto in many ways at 5-on-5, right? They dominated them. So even though Toronto had to play Sunday, everybody's got a crappy schedule this year. It is what it is. You expected, you in general, me, you, whatever, like I expected Toronto to come out full of piss and vinegar. I did. And the Bruins said, no, you're not going to get going. From the first shift on, Razor, they had the Hustanidov chance, right? That Stolarz had to make it. Maybe it was the second shift. The Bruins forecheck was great. The word relentless kept popping into my mind. The Bruins were on top of them all early on. At one point, what were they up 9-1 in shots at one time, if I remember correctly? It was something crazy in the first period. They ended up outshooting them 11-6 in the first, but I think at one point it was 9-1 late in the period. What a start from the Bruins, not allowing Toronto to have a chance to feel good about themselves at all.
No, it was perfect. It was just like the road game in Long Island that first period. It was just a perfect start. Took advantage of the Leafs in 3 and 4, like you said. Took away all of any kind of momentum that the Leafs wanted to bring into this because of the way Saturday went. It was a great period by the Bruins.
And Toronto, I think you could tell, lost it a bit mentally, taking 3 penalties in the first period. And that perhaps is a result of being tired. Perhaps it's a result of the Bruins just being all over them, and saying like, and then I think, Toronto is, I mean, I don't know if they know what they are, Razor. And that's what we were talking about, sitting with Judd at the game tonight and another great buddy, Dubes. And we're watching these, a hook, a slash, and a high stick, 3 penalties taken under 8 minutes into the first period. And you're like, what are you doing if you're Toronto? Like, what are you trying to be? What are you trying to do? And the Bruins made them pay, to their credit. Pavel Zacha gets the power play goal, his 5th of the season. I thought Zacha, I'm jumping ahead here, but I thought Zacha was awesome tonight. He didn't get a star of the game, which is fine. I don't give a shit about that. I thought he was awesome with regard to his stick work, Razor. I counted at least 4 times that he killed plays, stripped pucks or whatever with his stick, protected plays through the middle of the ice with his stick. I thought he was spectacular. Now, he gets his goal off his skate. So I'm not saying he's, this wasn't exactly whatever, but Pastrnak with the assist after McAvoy gets the puck to Pastrnak. Pasternak's bullet pass to the mid slot bounces off the skate of Zacha, Pavel Zacha, and right into the net and gives the Bruins an early 1-0 lead. This comes after a really good chance on a give and go from Geeky to Hustanidov to start the game that Stolarz actually made a save on. It was a bit of a desperate save. Then at the 6:41 mark, though, just a minute and a half later, Steve Lawrence comes through with an assist, with a goal off of a giveaway, to put it mildly, by Charlie McAvoy, a shorthanded goal. That was, I don't know. It seemed like, what just happened here? It was like a slow developing play. When you saw that, and it was just like, it was too easy, way too easy. It was a good shot from Lawrence too. I'll give him credit there.
Yeah, so way too easy, and whether a little bit of miscommunication on where that support was, or Charlie just completely blanking or not expecting Lorenz for the double or the second effort that Lorenz gave. Maybe he thought he was going to swing, but yeah, that's much too easy against a team that could have got back into the game at that point with that.
Off of that, like, wasn't that a moment where you're like, holy shit, watch out. Now, the other thing is, talk about here, I don't know if you caught this watching the highlights, Razor. It was a bit of a double clutch from Lawrence when he gets the puck right there. And that's the reason why I think he catches Swayman off. I think Swayman's expecting that first shot to happen. I don't know if because again, I'm in arena. I see a replay, but it's not as, repetitive speak. Did he whiff on it, or did he mean to kind of clutch on it? Could you tell?
No, I couldn't tell. I wouldn't give. Lorenz in the NHL, but I think he would have wanted to get it off right away. But he took advantage of that pump. To your point, that 6 inches that the puck keeps moving changes the angle completely and opens up that right side of the net.
Okay, so Lorenz gets it, makes it 1-1, and you're thinking, oh boy, the Bruins have been the much better team 6.5 minutes in, but now it's 1-1. But the Bruins, again, they stick with it. No problem. Hampus Lindholm, this one on the power play, the assist from Mason Lohrei and Michael Eyssimont getting some PP time near the end. Lindholm's shot comes from the left point, 60-footer, 65, maybe even a little, and it beats the gigantic goaltender, Anthony Stolarz, over the glove side shoulder in there.
Mhm.
I was sitting in the Nesson suite at the other end of the ice, and I kind of did that double take of, whoa, was that a great shot or was that a bad save? Meaning a miss there. I'm going to give Campus credit for getting rid of the puck. I'm actually going to give the Bruins again credit for retrieve. I thought their puck retrievals were really good in the first period in general, 5-on-5 and power play. But it's the shot from Lindholm from distance that the goaltender's so big. How do you miss that one? Did he go down too early on that one? But it was just one that you're like, how the hell did that go in from that distance?
Yeah, well, especially at that time, I guess hindsight now that we know that he left with an injury, and Steve's goal was even worse than that one. Something was going on. Something was up, and he obviously didn't have his head in this one tonight. Something was going on with Stolarz.
Well, didn't you think your comment in the game on Saturday, you didn't feel he was tracking pucks well at all, and you felt he was back. So I don't know. Maybe his head wasn't in the game in general this whole weekend, the last few games that he's been in.
Yeah, again, so, maybe he's battling. I'm not sure. It's curious though, because no, he didn't. He looked really bad. I mean, he got pulled in 2 games against these Bruins and gave up, and should have given up more goals than he ended up giving up too, which was hard to do. Is the fact he's given up 7 in about a period and a half of hockey time, 2 periods. So real tough couple of days, and then so. We'll see what this injury is and how long he's out. It might be telling the story, I guess, from hindsight.
Steve's goal, as you mentioned, not good. It goes through his legs. Steve picks the puck up after some really good forecheck by the line that consisted of a bit of a mishmash. It was Fraser Minton out there, Arvidsson as well. You had Hampus Lindholm because he gets an assist on it, but Steve ends up picking it up and reloads from that left side, comes into like the left circle, and then just puts a shot through the 5-hole. It wasn't one of those where you say, oh, that was a good 5-hole shot. It was like the goalie Solarz got a little piece of it and it went through, but it was late in the period, 17-23. The first goal as a Boston Bruin for Steves. He gets it against his former NHL organization, Toronto Maple Leafs. Everybody's excited for him. They get the puck quickly on the ice, and the Bruins are up 4-1 at the 3-1. At the end of that period, and you're thinking like, okay, what's going on? Leafs no good. They get outshot tremendously, 13-6 or 12. I'm sorry, 11-6 in that period. Overall, Razor, the first 2 periods, first period on Saturday, first period on whatever day of the week this is now, Tuesday, combined outshot 24-12. One team was ready to play both nights in the first, and the other wasn't. Plain and simple.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Starts
matter. Yep. All right. 3-1 at that time. And then early in the second period, there's a quick chance. Hildeby comes in, the goaltender, the backup for the Toronto Maple Leafs to start the second. There was an opportunity, but then there's another breakout. And it ends up being Charlie McAvoy with the pass deep in his zone. He sees a stretching Geeky coming up, or kind of posting up middle of the ice. Pastrnak loads with some speed, and Charlie's breakout pass, a linear pass to Geeky was great, but Geeky's tip of the puck to a streaking David Pastrnak. And from our end, could we tell he was exactly on side or not? No, I couldn't tell live. If I'm thinking, oh, please. But because Pastrnak gets it in stride on a breakaway, and that's like that's Hildeby's second shot he's facing less than a minute into the period. And Pastrnak does a patented pasta move and absolutely undresses him. I mean, how does a goalie stop that at that point, Razor?
No, he doesn't. It's impossible. And it goes to the point of the Leafs not being ready out of that gate. It's not like it's completely sleeping. How do you let 88 get in behind you? But what just an all world. David had some troubles with breakaways at the start of last season. He was grinding on his breakaways, but that was anything but a grind. That was just perfect, smarts, hockey sense, rhythm, deception. It was great.
Multiple dekes.
Like crazy.
I mean, multiple dekes that were involved in that play. I was almost expecting at first remember the
The
slingshot?
high, yeah, the
We
sling
haven't
high.
seen that in a
No,
while.
we haven't at all. It
We
went away.
it has gone away. And I thought I had that moment of thinking of like, oh, Hildeby doesn't know what's coming. The sling's going to come. And next thing you know, he's holding on to the puck and he uses that toe curve forward, back, and he just, it's, as you said, rhythm. I think that's an awesome way of describing it, because for him, he gets the moves going and he's got his flow going. And I think he just ends up seeing stuff that the normal human hockey player doesn't see. And then he tucks it by the way, Hildeby is 6'7".
No, he's a
So
monster.
He's a monster too. He's not as wide as Stolarz, but he undresses him. Pasternak's 9th of the season is also his 400th of his career. Again, I will say that was a the slinky assist by Geeky. What an accomplishment at this point in his career, Razor. He hasn't been. I don't think he's been pressing. He's been trying to get to that 400 for the last couple of games, but he puts this one in, and the whole bench empties. The Garden erupts, and you're seeing another legendary Bruin accomplish, just impressive stuff. I mean, what more do you say?
No, 400s. That's a big number, and to do it at such a young age, like he's got some runway for some serious numbers in his career. It's pretty cool, and yeah, he's the. We've had so many milestones, right? The last 3-4 years between Chara and Bergeron and Marchand, and now it's David, and now we're just going to watch him climb the charts within this franchise and throughout the league, really, because there's no real end in sight.
Yeah, your point about him doing it at a young age is great, and we kind of forget because he has been around for a while. He's 29 years old, and he's in his 12th year. I'm double checking that because it still amazes me. I'm saying he's in it for 12 years now. And, the fewest amount of goals he's had since the 21-22 season, and it's only because there was the shortened season in 2021, is 40. So 40, 61, 47, 43. He now has 10 because he scored another one later in the game. I mean, he's rocking and rolling, and he's going to keep climbing, and he's doing it not just, last year he did it, especially late in the year, alone. He just did it, or along with Geeky. That was it. So he's elevated his game to such a different level. It's phenomenal to see. It was great to see everybody on the bench come off. Swayman even took a long skate from the other end of the ice down there. Would you have done that, Razor?
Oh, yeah, you got it. Okay. Once everyone else on the bet and goes over the boards, you got to get in the mix a little bit for sure. go for a little wheel, especially 4-1, 21 minutes into the game. You're feeling real good at that point.
Let me ask you this. I know it's a huge milestone, but does that tick off the other team, you think? Seeing everybody get off the bench for 400, not saying it's not a huge milestone, but it's not the magical 500 number, right? Mm-hmm. Like, does that tick the other team off, do you think?
It would have a dozen years ago. I think that it's changed. We've seen a lot more bench clearing the last couple of years.
Everybody gets a video, welcome back video.
Correct.
Now too, right?
Tribute. I was going to go to the tribute videos next. Like that would piss everybody off a dozen years ago too. Like someone would go run a guy if he got a tribute video for no reason. And now no one seems to care. So I think it's just I think it's changed. I think you're embarrassed and you don't really want them doing it, but it's just, it's happened enough now that guys think it's normal, I guess.
So I would say this. I think David Pasternak's 400th goal is worthy of the spark of the game. Yeah. Wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, the power play provided a spark in the first period, but let's give it to Pasta only because he is David Pastrnak.
We're not getting 400 goals from anybody anytime soon, I don't think.
No. So David Pastrnak gets our spark of the game, getting his 400th goal early in the second period. Go to sparkshockey.com, and you want to check out the finest at-home skate sharpening unit, or, hey, if you got a business too, it is perfect for sharpening skates quickly, evenly, all the time. Go to sparkshockey.com. They've got custom NHL sharpeners available. They're also the preferred at-home sharpener of the NHL because of that. So, go check it out. They're fun. They're easy to use. Razor and I love our Sparks. Used it the other day for Jake's new blades. Use it for mine. I'm going to be skating tomorrow, but my skates were sharpened the other day, so I don't need to worry about it. By the way, did you get to your skate last week? Did I ask you that already? I'm
No, I
forgetting.
didn't. No,
You
I
didn't
didn't.
get to it.
Yes. It was
Okay.
chaos in my house before I had to leave.
Oh, well, what's
Yep.
Bergie going to do without,
I know.
Razor out there?
I'm going to miss this week, obviously, too. I'm going to be so out of shape when I get back. It's going to be,
Oh,
but
no.
I'll
All
be
right.
buzzing my Spark skates for sure before the next one.
Check out sparkshockey.com. It is a phenomenal product. All right. So it's 4-1 at the time. Bobby McMahon on a power play late in the period makes it 4-2. We go into the third period. It gets a little hairy. I mean, in the sense of that it gets 4-3, just 3.5 minutes in. OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson with his second of the year, an even strength goal from distance. And couldn't exactly tell how that one got in, but regardless, it ends up, he's saying, could this be the comeback? And by the way, at this point, Austin Matthews isn't there because he got hit earlier in the second from Nikita Zadorov. We'll get to that in a moment. But the Bruins, they don't even really bend much right there. It doesn't feel like it, at least to me, Razor. They end up getting David Pastrnak another power play goal, his 10th goal of the season. That gorgeous pass from Mark Kaslick that we talked about after Janot helps get it back as well. Kaslick's third assist, Pasternak's 10th goal of the season. Bruins win 5-3. That is your game recap. The shots ended up being 32 for the Bruins and 33 for the Leafs. They came back with 27 shots combined in the second and third period. Pasta with 2 goals and an assist. Hampus Lindholm with a goal and assist. Charlie McAvoy with 2 assists in this game. Jeremy Swayman with the win. The power play again, 3 for 6 in this game. They were 1 for 1 in the game in Toronto. So 4 for 7, Razor, on the power play. First, I believe memory serves correct, partner. First time this year the Bruins had 3 power play goals in a game, I believe. So it's, it's
moving.
Steve spot.
Yeah, and we talked 10 days ago that it looks good. Like it hasn't really paid off, but they're moving it and they're finding the outlets. And now with Arvidsson's done a great job stepping in, right? Arvidsson's done a really nice job stepping in there, and he seems to have a good sense of where he needs to be the retrieval guy or be the out or move the puck again. So it's won them a couple games here now.
You bring up a good point about Arvidsson retrieving pucks. I think their puck retrievals in general, not just power play, but even strength too, have been excellent. I do. I think their wall play in the offensive zone, their support, they're having a guy above the puck regularly. It makes such a difference in keeping plays alive. I know it seems obvious, but I felt like they weren't doing enough of that. They were allowing the opponent to break out more. They were dumping the puck in so much more because maybe they were tired from spending so much time in their own zone that maybe that's why they couldn't stay above the puck. I don't know. It's just light years different now during this 7-game stretch. And again, the Bruins win this one 5-3. Let's recognize our sponsors here, but then we want to get to some lineup decisions. We got to talk Zadorov and Domi and Matthews getting hurt and just where the Bruins are at right now. Let's start, Razor. We already mentioned Sparks. How about Sunset Lake CBD? How about Sunset Lake CBD right now? Heard from Cy and Rev up there. They've got they're percolating their Black Friday, their Christmas stuff. They're going to have some great deals coming up soon, folks. We'll be telling you about that next show. Go check out sunsetlakecbd.com to check out all of their amazing products. Whether it is their regular CBD or their hemp salve with arnica, their joint rubs. They've got that, they've got, obviously for me, the sleep gummies, whether it's the gummies or the tinctures. And for you, Razor, they've got their lifted. They got their lifted teas. So they got everything teas right now, partner.
The lifted teas are can't miss. And then, of course, the sleep aids are beneficial as we get into this season and the late nights. And guys are awesome. Most importantly, just a great company, cool people.
Natural products made right in northern Vermont, just outside of Burlington area. These guys are huge hockey fans, huge Bruins fans, and they're huge fans of producing fantastic quality products. Go to sunsetlakecbd.com, check it out, and they've got awesome customer service. So you can talk to them about products you need. Check them out. You know where else you got to check out? Razor's place to buy a car, the Copeland Automotive Group. Todd Copeland has 5 different dealerships now. Go to countoncopeland.com to check it out. Toyota, Chevrolet, and Subaru dealerships. Again, countoncopeland.com. Razor gets all of his cars there. Yep. Wonderful customer service as well. He can speak to it better than me. You're so happy with what you've got, and it's just a good place to go. All their dealerships, Razor, are great places to go.
Yeah, the service is awesome. They're big hockey people at all their dealerships. I've been to the Chevy one twice now, the Toyota one once, down in Brockton. Everyone's awesome there, and it's in and out, seamless, which is, my kind of dealership.
Yes.
I hate those places typically, but I love Copeland's, and then Todd's the best. So huge hockey people, which we always want to support that community.
We absolutely do. Todd's family has always been into hockey for forever, and his son played college at BU. Again, Todd and I were teammates at Michigan, and he has just built a beautiful automotive group. Go to countoncopeland.com. Lastly, another hockey mad company that supports us, Fazenda, since day one, basically, of Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. FazendaCoffee.com/Morning Brew. Check out all the products that they have there, including hats, including clean canteens, and including the best coffee you can find, whole bean or ground. They've got all the different blends you could possibly want. You can talk to them too about, hey, I like this, I like that. They'll say, we've got this type of product for you or that. These are the type of people, again, you can trust. All their batches are small, made right here in Dedham. Check out Fazenda, Fazenda, FazendaCoffee.com. All right. How about the restraint shown by Nikita Zadorov? I mean, he was heavily involved in this game, Razor. Heavily involved in the sense of, making his presence felt. He hit Austin Matthews in the second period. Matthews ended up playing through the shift. Matthews actually went back at Nikita Zadorov at one, which I give him credit for there. But then he goes off, doesn't come back, out the rest of the game. Actually, the funny thing is, I did not notice Austin in the first period. I did not notice Austin Matthews in the first period. I noticed him a little more in the second. Maybe he got pissed off or whatever, but then he was out with injury. But then Zadorov, there was some jostling here and there. There was some stuff. Finally, Domi late in the period. You said it. Leafs actually had momentum going at that time, and Domi elects to go after the behemoth Boston Bruin defenseman. But he controlled himself. He made a difference by showing restraint, at least in my opinion. Would you agree?
Yes. And then no question, just understanding the time, understanding what was going on in the game. The worst thing that could have happened would be Zadorov getting an extra minor out of Domi, roping him into something at that point. And Max was trying to do that, I suppose, on some level, or at least thought he would be able to bring him into at least another minor by causing some chaos. But Nikita did nothing, and that was the perfect time to do nothing. You can be very intimidating and effective physically by doing nothing sometimes, and that'll add another thing to a layer to Zadorov's game, and that was just a perfect timing of it. And like we talked about, the Bruins making him pay makes Zadorov's restraint even more important.
Nikita played just under 20 minutes. He was a +1 in the game, 2 shots on net, 3 hits, 1 minor, which is fine. He's getting his penalty minutes up there, so he's got to feel a little bit better about that, as he joked at last game about winding that. How about the line of David Pastrnak? 23-45. Now, 7:21 of that was on the power play. He ended up having 14 attempts in the game, 4 on net, 3 attempted or blocked, 7 missed shots, but he was all over. He had that jump going, the giddy up, as I like to say it. I thought he was, again, incredibly noticeable in this one. Charlie McAvoy, 26-11. This is a different player now, Razor, than we've seen. This is going on, and it did start when they made some lineup change, and he goes and he plays with Nikita Zadorov. He looks like a refreshed and revitalized player. Would you agree?
I would, and he got the extra day from Saturday too with whatever was going on at home. So he had the energy that 5 days off in this season gives you, and he was able to put that in the right place. And he pushed back after the giveaway on the shorthanded goal as well, which was great to see.
If I asked you, you're good. You look at the stat sheet, you might know this, but who led the Bruins in hits? Would you know who led the Bruins in hits in this game?
No, I didn't. I was looking at the faceoffs while you were looking at stats because I was shocked at how much the Bruins won in the faceoff circle. They just smoked the Leafs. So I did not look at hits. Give me the hits.
The hits. Alex Steeves led the Bruins with 5 hits in this game.
Sense.
Remember in preseason, of all the guys, we talked about it, he was the one that, of all the, we'll call them bubble guys, him, the Blumels, Patras, etc., right? The guys that hoped to make it coming out of camp.
Mhm.
He was the guy we felt that played a more aggressive role in preseason for what it's worth. And he's continued to do that.
So let's bookmark this for next training camp when we go on and all the people that are going to make the team in training camp. But let's just remember, this is why that's why Steve's was the first call up. They brought because of what he did in camp, and he probably carried it over into Providence, but he was the most aggressive one. They want to be an aggressive team. They need to be aggressive this week, especially against divisional teams, I should say. That's why he gets the call up. So that stuff, that's why training camp matters. It's not about making the team. There's just not a lot of roster spots out of training camp as we see every year, but there's opportunities still to make your mark.
Yeah, and he did well in the American League. He wasn't a leading scorer, but they have a whole line of like 6 guys that are all basically right there. Riley Tufte has been leading the way, but he's been doing things, and I think they felt for where they were going to slot him in that he was by far the best option for that. I know there were people that were pining for. I mean, you're not going to bring up Matt Patra to put him at center to move Pavel Zacha to wing when Pavel Zacha moving to center has stabilized that second line. No. You're just not going to do that. So you say, okay, who can play the role that can play a smart game, a physical game? I'm saying what you said and repeating it, so I'll stop it. It's Alex Steeves. But he led him with the 5 hits in this game. And again, it wasn't like a bloody type game, one of those crazy violent games, but it had an edge to it at times. And therefore, the Bruins needed the overall physicality. We talked about having the VLs and the other heavy-duty players, the Kasliks, Chinots. I do think it helped them significantly in this game, too. I do. It just, even though VL only played 740, you noticed him. You noticed 48 when he was out there for that time. A few other things statistically that jump out. Let's start with Mason Lohrei. Makes his second game in a row into the lineup, right? He didn't play, or he played up in Toronto. Now with Charlie back, the question was, we discussed it kind of off, like who would be the guy coming back in or to go out, and they elect to keep Mason in the lineup after a very nice, solid performance in Toronto that you witnessed from ringside. A controlled, 14 minutes up there, 15 minutes maybe in TO. He plays 14:35 in this game, which I think is, again, the perfect number for him right now. He has 1 assist. He has a couple of attempts, but nothing else bad on the stat line. And the eye test said another controlled game from number 6 on the back end. And with McAvoy in, and after the 2 assist performance, I think the rationale behind keeping him and taking Aspero out, who's played really well since he's been in, I think was saying like, okay, let's see if we can get Mason into a little rhythm here. He played well. He sat out his 5-6 games, and now let's see if we can get him into a little rhythm. Nothing bad to Aspero. This is just the way it works right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the Lohrei, they've eased him in these 2 games, perfect games for him to be in. They get 2 wins. So you start feeling good as a player when you come back in the lineup. More than anything else, you just want the team to win, especially if they had been winning while you were out of the lineup. That's just always how it works. And now to get 2 of those wins under your belt, the 15 minutes is kind of where it works. You just said it. It's, when the other 4 guys in front of him are playing the way they are and playing like the way they did tonight, now everything kind of slots properly, and you can start giving him a little more cookie every single game as he works back his way back into this. But if everybody's playing well, I think with his second power play unit
number or event, he gets out there for that responsibility. I think 15 to 16 minutes is just fine for him. I think that's where his, you give him that's just enough. And then you can manage that. Granted, at home, it's a little easier than the road, but they did it in TO. Maybe they can keep doing it. I think that's just the right amount of exposure for him. And then your point, to get him back up to snuff there.
Yep.
All right. Good news coming out of the Bruins is Elias Lindholm was on the ice earlier today. Okay. Casey Middlestat they're saying give him, weeks or a week, or I think they said give it a week to start. I think then week to week we'll see where he is. So hopefully he's not too bad. Johnny Beecher was a scratch again in this game. He took warm up in Toronto, but he was dinged up a bit from the previous game. And I think they want to give him a couple off to make sure that he gets back healthy. So now you've had Swayman play 2 games in a row. In theory, we've talked a little about this, right? You'd think Korpisalo goes into Ottawa, faces them again, and then you get Swayman set up for Montreal on Saturday. And then you've got another game on Monday. What a crappy schedule. But again, it's everybody. I should stop saying that in the NHL. It's everybody. And then you got another home game on Monday against Carolina before you head on that road trip. So, but it just seems like looking at the next at least 2 games, it would make sense, right? Corpy Thursday, Sway Saturday.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense, and we thought that 6 days ago. It still kind of works and fits into place.
Did you like Swayman's game? Anything that wasn't that you saw? Anything that you need, comment?
Yeah, no. It was really light at the start, and he stayed in it, and then didn't make any mistakes at the end. That's, in a game like that, the only way that Toronto comes all the way back is if the goalie makes one mistake. And he didn't do that, covered up, made saves, and got his numbers built up at the end of the game with all the extra shots.
So Bruins win their 7th in a row. All right. 8 of 9. In those 7 games, Razor, they've had a power play goal, at least one in 5 of those 7. So the power play, significant difference in making an impact for them. They continue to have an absolute gaggle of different players score goals for them as well, which is so important. This game, yes, the big boys, especially Pastrnak coming through, but add Steves to the mix. If you just do a quick eye test going over these last now 7 games, I mean the variety of I think we're at 12 different players, if my memory serves correct. You've got Elias Lindholm, Pastrnak, Eyssimont, Minton, Geeky, Kastelik, Husnudinov, Middlestat, Arvidsson, Zaka, Corrali. That's right. Corrali scored against Ottawa. And then you've got, and then you had Steves in here. So the bevy of different players scoring goals, just phenomenal. So important. Things are good right now. Let's see what happens. You got to get some rest. I know when you're tired, you get even more. I'm the miserable one, but you can get miserable a little bit. So let's not get you miserable. We've made it through a show, folks. If you're listening,
I didn't yawn at all. I thought I was going to too. That's why I text you. I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to yawn like 9 times tonight. I did good.
All right. Well, we started as early as we could. We're done with this one. Anything else we need to cover here, partner, before we say goodbye?
No. Well, Boston Bruins have 22 points. They have the most points in the Atlantic Division, or tied with Montreal for the most points in the Atlantic on November 11th. So let's enjoy that.
All right. Razor's heading on the road, but Thursday we will have a pre-brew for you midday at some point, just previewing the Ottawa game quickly. We'll have, whatever updates come out for the Bruins. Saturday, we'll still have Road Razor joining us on the live show, 8 to 9 a.m. on EEI, but then also we'll have it out as a podcast ASAP, both audio and video after that. And Razor, have a safe trip, bud. Have a great time on the road. Enjoy a day off in Montreal. Go get some smoked meat or whatever you prefer.
Poutine.
Poutine, yeah. Get the cardio workout in to help out with the digestion and everything. Yeah. All right. RC, thanks for everything, bud. I got to see RC and a friend at the game tonight. So it was awesome. It was awesome to see RC there. And
RC is 1-0.
He is at the game. So thanks for everything, RC. And folks, thanks for all of your support and our sponsors too. We'll talk to you later. Everybody enjoy your coffee. Bruins 7-0. Going crazy.